Hi. Before I begin, this is not a diss on Mr. Who's the Boss at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I don't think I've ever really seen this, at least at his scale, on the platform before. Um, so let's just get right into it. I think this is the best decision Mr. Who's the Boss has ever made. Let's start off with a little bit of context. Mr. Maini has moved out of his parents' home and into a $1 million mansion, basically. It is beautiful. Just everything seems intentional. Everything just seems like it's in its proper place. The colors and how the textures are used. But that's not why I'm here. I wanted to talk about 4 reasons about why Mr. Who's the Boss has single-handedly revolutionized the negative stigma that is house tours. I think we all knew that at a certain point when a YouTuber becomes popular, they start getting a little bit cocky. Maybe their quality tends to go down a sewer pipe, and we kind of just stop watching, but out of nowhere we see in our feed blah 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 house tour, and we kind of just cringe a little bit because we weren't even really interested in his content anyway, and now he's all braggadocious. And this even happens to honest to goodness creators, where we're interested a little bit, but we're more interested in him than the actual house. How does Mr. Who's the Boss handle it? Number one is consistency. First of all, he gave us a warning that he was going to move out. But also another thing, we're not completely alien to Mr. Maini buying a whole bunch of things in one video. We have seen him drop tens of thousands of dollars in a couple of minutes when Mr. Who's the Boss buys a whole bunch of stuff for his house, and we'll get to the specifics of how he did that in a minute. It doesn't feel entirely alien to us. In fact, Mr. Who's the Boss has single-handedly spearheaded the I bought a whole bunch of things. Not exactly invented it. Most of his most watched videos have been just exactly that. And in another vein, they're all tech. Like, he has furnished his entire house and made it as seamless and flawless and just to the exact configurations that he wants it with tech. And Mr. Who's the Boss is a tech YouTuber, if you didn't know that. This thing was gonna die. Point number two that famously counters a lot of other YouTubers when they do house tours is that when they do the actual purchases, it's well thought out. Nearly every single thing that Mr. Maini buys, there is a hidden purpose behind it. Consistently, he explains what each goal for each room is. And that's another thing. Like, when I see a bunch of house tours, it's usually just the house and most commonly the car. Like, the car is not that much part of the house, so why are you showing me your car? Because it's a Lamborghini and I paid a whole bunch of money to rent, I mean buy it. Point number three is transparency. And I'm not accusing a whole bunch of other people with not being transparent, even the so-called good ones. But you do have to add a little bit of humanization humanization, is that a word? You do have to add a little bit of humanity when it comes to buying expensive stuff, because the majority of people can't afford what you're buying. So if you include everything, your process, the goods, the ups, the downs, you seem like a more, genuine person, especially when you kind of have a little bit of a quirky side to yourself, like Mr. Who's the Boss does. For example, there was that video, I guess it was his bedroom, where he said, I'm also going to show you a mistake I made towards the very end, which is awesome for retention because I stayed until the very last minute and I was dying to know what the mistake was because he was blowing all this money like crazy. It was the mattress, and he was like, it's not great, but if I had to do it all over again, I would have gone with the 8 sleep thing, which I was like, wow, okay, that was really underwhelming, but I'm glad he shared that. Number 4 is practicality. And this is, I think, the best part of why Mr. Who's the Boss has succeeded. All of these things have led to one thing, which is making a video for your audience. When I was looking up on how to make a YouTube video, whatever that means, I kept coming across all these different statements that seem to contradict each other. But then I saw a community post, which, it wasn't actually a community post. It was something that my parents had said. But, nothing is validated until you see it on the internet. Who are you making the video for? If you make it for yourself, well, there's less of a value for the person that is watching it. There might be some, but you'll get more if you make it for other people. I don't know if this is intentional or not. I think it definitely is. Mr. Who's the Boss is teaching us interior design, which is why this video is on a design channel. Trust me, it was going somewhere, even if we, can't afford the things that he's buying. We can at least glean some sort of educational value. For example, you should probably know what your house looks like, obviously, on the inside before you buy it, but also have a plan. If you are a little bit design inclined, figure out what kind of feel you want each and every room to have. And also, like 4.5 bonus point, he's like kind and, I don't know, treats his fellow humans with respect and dignity or some garbage like that. But anyway, I really want to know, did I nail it? And I will see you later.